What's up guys, welcome to another episode of Minecraft Tutorials. Today we've got quite an intensive build to go through. This is our sea pickle farm. If you have seen that tutorial, this produces a crazy amount of sea pickles. It's really fast but requires a lot of bone meal. Well, now with composters we have a system that will allow us to collect bone meal and we'll actually self-feed this thing for when it's ready for use. This version right here is actually our self-controlled version, which means it will only activate when pumpkins grow. So what I'm going to do is actually toss down a stack of pumpkins, maybe even two. Those will get picked up by those hoppers there. It'll feed the composter, and anytime a piece of bone meal is collected, it will actually activate the system, just like that. Now we also have other versions here, other control systems. This one I believe was our fully automatic. Yeah, so what happens is you'll have bone meal up in here. It'll get turned into, you'll have pumpkins up in here being fed into the composter, turning into bone meal, which will be collected by our dispenser. The dispenser will fill up with bone meal over time, so that when you have enough, all you gotta do is activate the system. And this is what we used to have in the original tutorial, a fully high-speed pickle farm. Now you're only seeing a nano version of that, so you're not seeing the full potential of it, but this thing is absolutely insane when you do an expanded row of the system. I definitely recommend you check out that video. Also quite noisy. Now here is a system which is a combination of both the automatic and fully rapid fire versions. This thing right here will start collecting all the pumpkins from the pumpkin farm up top. The composter will turn it into bone meal, which gets fed into our dispenser down below for the farm. And right now the system is locked, but when you unlock it, anytime that this composter sends off a signal from the bone meal that's being created, you can see it's like a semi-automatic type of system. It sends out a pulse of activations. So to create our sea pickle farm, what you need to do is actually remove a we'll do a 3x4 for this video, into the ground. You're going to place down water so that it is all source water blocks. You're then going to place down a 2x4 in this instance of coral. The coral will stay colorful as long as it's above the water. Now this side has the extra water gap here, so what you need to do for this side is place down some sticky pistons a block away from, what is that? A block away from the coral. There we go. Just like that. So you have this gap here. When those extend, it'll pull out the coral blocks this direction, back and forth, and that's what kind of activates or creates our duplicates. On the side that has just the coral, we are going to place down any type of block, and we're going to place down dispensers facing into the coral blocks. On the opposite side, on these blocks, we're going to place repeaters going into the block, and for right now, we're just going to place down redstone dust going into those repeaters. On this side, we're going to place down repeaters going into the sticky pistons with more redstone dust behind them. At this point, you're going to want to place down hoppers going into each of those dispensers. You're also going to take some glass and make sure that we completely surround this area where there's an opening, and that way water does not escape the system. Okay, so we actually need to now build this up with more glass, like so. I'm going to place down a row of glass. Actually, this will get hoppers, I believe. Yeah, so we're going to place down a row of hoppers. Doesn't matter which direction you go, but it's going to go above the dispensers and out, so it has nothing to do with the dispensers down below. And we're then going to get some more water, and we're going to start to fill in this area. There we go, source water blocks just like that. We're then going to get some more glass, and we're going to expand outwards like so. Okay, so once you reach the layer that has the hoppers exposed, you're going to basically widen this on both sides so that you have some blocks here and some hoppers here. We don't need these corner pieces. I'm going to eliminate this just like that. Now what we need to do here is actually place some source water blocks here. And as you can see, it's only creating a water flow here. If we were to toss some Sea Pickles into this, it would have a hard time reaching the top of those hoppers. In fact, a lot of the Sea Pickles would probably be sitting on top of these dispensers here. So what you want to do is actually create another row of water so that the slope here touches the top of the hoppers. Now the Sea Pickles will float high enough and be thrown into the hoppers, and that's exactly what you want. Now I need to actually grab some Sea Pickles. I don't have any, so we're going to just grab these. I'm going to cover these back up. There we go. And I'm going to plant the Sea Pickles right here in front of the dispensers. I'm going to place down 4 in all of them. That way it's at its maximum potential. And then at this point, all I need to do is cover this up because I don't want Sea Pickles being tossed out of this farm. I want to make sure that everything that grows gets thrown into this hopper chain right here. Alright, so I'm going to place down some hoppers here because I need to create another hopper chain coming out this way. I actually need to remove that one. So, and I'm going to remove that one temporarily too. We're going to have 2 rows of hoppers. One is to collect the Sea Pickles, which will flow out this way. And we're actually going to have, oh boy, I need to create just a few temporarily. Ignore this, I just need to create an extended line. The row that is on top of the dispensers is going to flow straight out, and this will be for our collection area. We'll get to that momentarily, so don't stress too much about this. The second row that is being extended out to the opposite side by 1 hopper is going to be collecting all of the bone meal, and that has 2 rows because, as you can see, the bottom row is basically being filtered into our dispensers. So all of this is for collecting bone meal on the back half. But we need to place down a composter now because that's what's going to be creating our bone meal for our dispensers. Oops. Oh, I'm so terrible at this. There we go. Then you can actually grab another hopper and place that into our composter. But we also need to now place more hoppers on top for our pumpkin farm. You guys are going to be utilizing a lot of iron for this build. Alright, now that we have that in place, we can actually start to build our pumpkin nano farm. And this thing will be however you guys build it, because if you decide to build the Sea Pickle farm longer, you'll just have a longer pumpkin farm, which is actually pretty good because it will just produce more bone meal. But if you absolutely want to create high quantities of bone meal for this farm, then you need to build higher, and I'll show you how to layer this momentarily. What you need to do is place down a row of grass right there. You're going to be placing stairs every other block, just like this, and you're going to be placing a glass block behind that. Then you're going to be placing regular blocks, so I'm going to come down here and grab one of these, and you're just going to place that out like so. You're going to then be placing regular blocks on top of those glass blocks, every other one like that. You basically created a trench here for extra water for your pumpkin farm. So that will be filled up right there. I'm tripping up over my words, guys. Alright, so grab an observer. You're going to place the observer on the lower portion, so this block here, this block here. You're going to grab some redstone dust and place the redstone dust on these 2 blocks back here. You can create a button and place that anywhere. We're going to place it right here, so this will pulse our system. It's kind of like our reset button. Then grab a regular piston and place that on this upper block, like so, facing into the grass area. Grab a hoe to till the land, and we're going to be tilling the land in front of the observers. You can now plant pumpkins or melons. I'm going to plant just pumpkins, I guess. That's kind of like my default. Here we go. And as you can see, anytime that gets updated, it will update the system. You then, and I recommend that you enclose this farm when you're done building it. You do not want any pumpkins being wasted. Okay? So eventually you'll just keep building this higher and higher. So now anytime any pumpkins grow, the system will activate, they'll get pushed off, they'll land in the hoppers. The hoppers will transfer those pumpkins into the composter. The composter will turn it into bone meal. It'll flow through these hoppers here, get pulled by these hoppers here, and deposited into these dispensers so that it pulses and activates the system, duplicating your sea pickles. And if you want to expand the pumpkin farm area, I recommend grabbing some sea lanterns or some jack-o'-lanterns or glowstone, whichever you like. Put those on top here. And then place your land right there. You can then repeat the process we did before by placing a stair every other block, a full block in between, back, piece of glass here, and then up on top of the glass like so. Observers will then be here, redstone dust across the back like so, some pistons, well actually water in the stairs, and then pistons right there, and then again just till and plant. And then of course you will always make sure that you carry up this wall. You'll want this 1 block gap here so that that row of hoppers down below always collects the pumpkins. And then, you know, you just continue to grow this upwards. You can create a mega farm for pumpkins that will feed and create bone meal for your sea pickle farm. Absolutely insane, but it works. It's great. You're going to want to grab a block, build 2 up here so that it meets this hopper right here. Remove this one. You're going to want to grab a comparator. Comparator is going to detect a signal from this hopper anytime that a piece of bone meal gets spat out by that composter. You're then going to want to have a block on the other end of that comparator with a redstone torch. We need to create a hopper clock. So grab some hoppers. And I'm going to just place one right here. You're going to place a single item in one hopper. Right now it's locked by this torch. And then all that's needed is to create the signal for that hopper clock. So we're going to place we're going to need to place this 3 blocks here. Grab a comparator, a repeater to extend the signal, and then redstone dust to meet up with this redstone area here for the pistons. And then you're going to want to place down another line of redstone going this way. We're going to place down a chest right here and right here. Grab a hopper, place hoppers going into the back of the chest. That's going to be your storage. So now that we have our storage area, we need to create an area for bone meal. So we're going to remove this block and that one, put a chest down here, grab a hopper, place that going into the back of the chest, grab a composter, put that on top of that hopper with another hopper going into the composter. We're going to remove that, place it like this, and there we go. Now all we need is the furnace system that will create our lime green dye. So I believe we can actually, let's see, this will have to face down, which means our furnace should be at this level. So let's grab a furnace, place that right here. We'll have a chest here, a hopper going out of the furnace and into the chest, and another hopper going into the top of the chest. We then can also put down a hopper going into the back of the furnace with a chest up on top, and this will be for fuel. So we can actually place down a bunch of coal in this chest here, and that'll feed the fuel section of the furnace. Now any sea pickles that get collected and end up in the furnace will be turned into lime green dye, and that's our completed system, folks. Okay, so for our alternate 2 options of activation, I've set up some mock-ups here for what the activation side of the circuit is. You know, you have your pistons which activate, well, hello. Look at you, interrupting my tutorial. I've never seen you before. You can go. No, no, sir. No. Can you go? Get out of here. Alright, so we've kindly been interrupted here by the Wandering Trader. Anyways, we have some mock-ups here. This is the Sea Pickle farm area. We're going to build the other two activation options. This is the pistons, which push the blocks for the creation of, and actually these should be sticky pistons, not regular pistons. So let's just grab those to not make things confusing. There we go. That'll be pushing the coral blocks back and forth. Then you have the dispensers on the opposite side, which will be spitting out the bone meal to duplicate the sea pickles. For the fully automatic version, what you need to do is actually grab, let's see, we're going to place a piston, face that any direction you like, make sure that it doesn't break your build in any way, and then you're going to have an observer that looks into that piston with a piece of redstone down below. Now we need the redstone trail to activate the piston. I need to place down a repeater next to this block because I don't want the redstone dust to lock this. And then there we go. Alright, so all that's left is we create a staircase here for the piston to receive the signal that'll continually activate it. So we're going to place down 3 blocks here like a stair, and then build this up with redstone dust, and then place a lever on the opposite side so that when we activate this and then deactivate it, it's going to pulse our system. This is the full rapid fire activation circuit. It's also very noisy. Alright, so for the semi-automatic version, this one's a little bit different, a little bit more involved. We have a system which feeds bone meal. I'm going to just build this up like so. This will also have a composter, a steel U, which will activate the system. Bone farm up on top. Okay, so we need to have a block that goes up to the hopper here, and we're going to place down a comparator. We need to get a comparator, place that going out of this hopper. We're going to place down another block here that reaches on the opposite side of this comparator with a redstone torch here. We need a piston. There we go. That's activated, and then this should. I needed to look upwards. There we go. We should have an observer right there. So anytime that this piston gets activated, it should activate this observer. So let's grab some redstone dust. Boom. I'm going to actually, let's see, deactivate this. There you go. You can see the redstone dust gets activated. That means that this needs to come out this way and out this way towards the piston and the dispenser. And now all that's left is we need to create the staircase here that mimics the rapid fire version, and that just goes straight up like so. Anytime that it gets a pulse from the comparator there, it will flash the system, creating a multi-pulse shot of bone meal to activate our Sea Pickle farm. Alright guys, that's all the time I have for today. Hopefully this wasn't too long. I need to lock this because, wow. Here we go. We got a little visit from our Wandering Trader here today, which is pretty awesome. I'll have to look at that later. But anyways, that's all I got for today. Hope you liked this episode. Drop me some likes, some comments down in the comments field below, and I will see you all in the next episodes of Minecraft tutorials. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.